Hey everybody, it's Hope from Embellish and Craft and Cut. I have a craft and cut video tutorial for the 4th of July. Let me show you this cute little design. We've got hanging sunglasses and Merica. And what I did on this is I used the free designs that came when you purchased Craft and Cut. You had a CD that had 264 free SVGs, and I've used nothing but that on this design. Now, we thought this might be kind of cute on a t-shirt, and you could use heat transfer vinyl and perhaps press this right up against the neckline so it looked like your sunglasses were hanging in your shirt, like so many of us wear. So let me get started and show you how to make this. Now, if I was going to press this, I would be using 3 colors of heat transfer vinyl, a red, a white, and a blue. So let's go to a new page. To do that, your new page icon is on the upper left. To find the 264 designs, we've created a pink HY library, and that is so that you could import all those free designs into the library. When I click on it, mine is full of all of the collections. If yours has nothing in it, here's what you're going to do. You're going to click on File, make sure you have that CD loaded into your computer, and then under Import Hope Yoder Designs, you would simply click on that, find all of the designs, and you would open them, and then that would fill the HY library. All right, so what I want to show you is we're going to find the glasses to start with, and in this exercise we'll learn to use the join or the paperclip tool, and we'll weld some text together. And so we're going to scroll down to find the sunglasses, and maybe here they are, sunglasses. So I'm going to open those up, and let's just take a look. I'm going to double click on the magnifying glass, or I could click here to bring it full screen. First thing I like to do when I'm working in Craft and Cut is to unfill the colors. So over in the Properties window, I'm going to deselect Fill and then select Apply. And now you can see the outline. So that's very helpful to look at a design this way sometimes. You can see that we have 2 colors in the Layers window. We have a pink and a black. We'll fill this back in just for now for a better visual. Whoops. Let's select that and fill it as well. Now with the glasses, I'm going to turn them this way to work. Now notice I didn't have the design grouped together. You can come to the upper left and undo. Let me zoom out a little bit smaller to 100%. And I want to talk about all of these cool shortcuts. So we have delete, close a shape, magnify, copy and paste or duplicate, and I want to select all items, and when I do, I have this new icon that appears, and this is going to group this together. So we'll select that, and now you notice the group is closed. We also have the sizes in either inches, or I can right click and I can have the millimeter sizes. For this exercise, I'll work in inches. This is my rotate icon right at my fingertips, so I'm going to rotate that so it's kind of straight. Perfect, and let me zoom in so you can see what I'm doing. So I've got the first steps of this, and let's go back to the finished design. Notice how I have a lens that's white and the nice stars, and then we've got the USA. So we'll start with the USA. The USA, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ungroup this now. And so I can do that here. And I just want one of the lenses. So if I open the Layers window, I can select this or this lens. I want to find white. So I'm going to select the search button and start typing in white and find. And there it is. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to my color bar or my color picker so I can find it quicker. To do that, right click and left click to add to design. Now let's change the lens so it's white. All right. Let's go back to the design. So I've done this portion. Now I wanted to add this cool font USA. Now what's cool about this is it's not a font. It's actually one of the free circle monograms. So we're going to open the HY library, and now let me talk to you about the fonts here, or the letters, the shapes. One, you have A and L for left. Disregard the number 1. That's coding that we had to use to make them align in order. So the last letter means it's the left circle. If we scroll down a little farther, we'll see an R. This B ends in an R. That's for the right letter. And if we scroll down a little further, we have C, and C is for the center letter. So let's start finding USA. So I want to look for the letter U that ends in an L for the left. Now I'm going to color these blue. So I'm going to come down to a blue color I like, and I'll right click and left click so I can add it here. I'm not going to worry about the size right now. In fact, let's group this back again. And let's kind of move it aside. Now let's go get the letter S, and I want the center S. So we'll scroll down, and again we're looking for the letter S that ends with a C for center. Bring that in, and I'll quickly change the color. And now we are looking for the letter A that ends in an R for right letter. Here we go. Perfect. And I'll change that to blue. Now we'll get rid of this out of the way so I can focus. Whoops. On this USA. Well, let's talk about alignment. I'm going to click on the select tool, and I want these to be fairly close together. And if I look at this letter U, I think I need it longer. So I can just click and drag it to make it longer to fill in. Now I want to evenly space these together. So I'm going to move the A further apart, and let me move the U down here. Notice how I have a small space here as opposed to larger. I'm going to select all 3 letters, and then I'll come up to this icon. Anytime you see a drop-down arrow, click it to see what else is there. And we're going to look for the distribute horizontally. This is going to place equal distance between our objects. So check out what happens. There we go. So now we've got them all closer together. Let me hit the undo. And then when I hit the select distribute horizontally, perfect. Now I want to get them all in line. So that's going to be on the icon to the left. Click on the drop down menu, and we want to find the vertical center align. Great. Really like that. So I'm going to group this together by selecting this icon. Now I'll zoom out. And of course this letter is way too big. So you're going to go ahead and place this over your lens, your white lens, and just drag on the corner to get it the size that you want. And I'm just going for a visual center. Let's go back and look at our original design. Now notice how this USA is a little going a different direction, but for now we'll leave it this way. All right, now I have this black lens, and for that I want to make it look like this, where I have a round lens with stars cut out. To do that, we are going to use another free design in the HY library. Let's scroll down, and we're going to look for this patriotic heart. And let's see, what is it called? This library is great. You just got a lot of different generic designs. We're looking for the design called Flag Heart. Now when I bring that in, you can see I have all these different elements, and all I really want is this. So I'm going to select these items, click on the X to delete them. Perfect. Oops. So now that just leaves me with this lens. And what we did is we just are going to, in the layers window, select the black lens. Notice how I have so many things open here. I can right click and left click to collapse all. Now I don't want this lens, so I'm going to select it and then I can click on the X. Notice what happened. I didn't have my letters grouped. So let's select the letters and the lens and group it. Now it's just a matter of resizing this lens however I want it to be. Now this is just a preference. I kind of stretched the circle a little bit until I got the lens that I wanted. So the next thing I'm going to do is select all of it, and then I want to rotate it. So you can do it this way or this way. So let's leave it just like this and go back to our finished design. Notice I have the USA going horizontal instead of vertical. And I can ungroup this. Whoops, I duplicated it. So let's select all of the items, and I'm going to scroll down a little bit here so that I can ungroup it, and it is ungrouped. Oh. Perfect. I'm going to select the U and the S and the A. I'm holding down Shift over in my layers window. I want that to be one object. Notice how it's 1, 2, 3. To do that, I'm going to select all 3 colors, come over to my color picker, and click on blue, and now it kind of groups them together. From here, I can use my rotate icon. Let's see how we're looking over here compared to our finished design. Looks pretty close. I think I have my USA a little bigger, so I'll just select that and fill in however I want. Perfect. Now I'm going to group all of this. If I'm liking the way it looks, I'll group it. Perfect. So let's just set this aside. And now we're going to go ahead and do our text and add Merica. So I wanted a apostrophe and all of these letters. Let me show you what's unique about these letters. If I unfill this, notice how I have the letters welded together. If I'm cutting heat transfer vinyl, this whole text unit will weed as one and be much easier. Let me show you how to achieve that. I'm going to select text, and we want to use the vertical text. Click on the vertical text and click anywhere in the white open area. And I've used font Applique 4. And in all capital letters, I type in apostrophe M-E-R-I-C-A and then apply. Do you notice what happened? Where's my apostrophe? It's not there. We'll worry about that in a minute. Now this text is great. If I wanted to not weld it together, I could just click on these diamonds and move the fonts or the letters closer together. I can move them out of alignment like this and move them up. So that's how you would do all of this different things, but I don't want to do any of that. So I'm going to go back and go back. I'm going to click off so I get rid of the text nodes, and I want to break this apart. If I'm going to weld the letters so they look like this, I need to treat this as objects rather than text. To do that, you're going to click to select the text, right click, and left click on break up text. Now each letter is a different word or a different object. And I want to unfill all of these. So I'm going to unfill all of my letters. And that way I can start arranging them and welding them. But I need to deal with the fact that I don't have apostrophe. So let's go into the text mode again and just select regular text. Click in the white area and let's type in that apostrophe, and we're going to come down and go to Applique 5. And that one actually has apostrophe. So that's perfect. Notice that space when I drag it. The reason for that Well, I'm not sure what the reason is for that at this moment, but I want to weld this to the Merica, to the letter M, and I have to break apart the apostrophe. Even though it's only one letter, it's still text, and I still need to break it up. And that just lets the computer know I can treat it as an object instead of text. So I like to do this one at a time. I'm going to unfill this so you can see it. And let's just zoom in a little closer. And so I'm going to select the apostrophe and the letter M at the same time by holding down my Shift key. Come up into this area, click on the drop-down arrow and find Weld. When I select Weld, these two areas will weld as one, rather than taking a bite out of the M. Perfect. Now I can scroll down. And at this point, I just like to weld one letter at a time. So I'm going to come in here, center it however I want. In order to weld letters, you have to have the objects overlapping slightly. And you can see in this area and this area, I've achieved that. I'm going to select my select tool and I'll weld. And I just keep doing this one by one. And you can do the multiples at the same time, but I really like to just do one at a time. This letter I looked a little bit small, so I'm going to just fatten them up a little bit. And we're going to weld. And obviously I would probably take time to center these, but for the video, we won't worry about that. And now I'll weld that last letter A. Let's fill it back in so it looks good. Now obviously this is too big, so that's not a problem. I can just get it the same length. Space it however I want. If I have them both together, now I can come back into my alignment tools and I can do a vertical center align and group. We want to see how big this is, and right now it's 2.75 by 4.66. So if I can either drag it to make it bigger, or I can come into the properties and transform and make it exactly how big I want it. The last step, if I'm going to make this for heat transfer vinyl, I want to flip it horizontally. Now, in order to cut this out, I'm going to find my Save to Cut. Now, anything that I make and I save, I never go under File and Export Artwork. Everything that I make, now you can do it that way, but I don't recommend it. I'm going to run this through Save to Cut. And that's going to give me the artwork that I'm going to cut, the SVG file. But this Save to Cut will also give me the fabric or the vinyl settings for 4 brands of cutters. It'll give me a template, and it'll give me the original editable file in case I need to make changes. And it does it all in one step. So use Save to Cut. I'm going to be using a Brother Scan and Cut to cut this out in a minute. I'm going to select Heat Transfer Vinyl, and when I select Next, right here it's going to tell me what to put my blade on, the cut speed, the pressure, and there's even a video that I can click on to show me how to finish heat transfer vinyl. Application, mirror image the design, I've already done that. Place the shiny side down on the mat. When I hit next, it tells me again, did you remember to reverse the image? And we did, so we're gonna select finish. Let me just make a file here. All right, you can see I've already saved those files, but I'm going to call this Merica. Now, here's a tip. I know I have 2 different colors or 3 colors of heat transfer vinyl, so I'm going to leave an underscore after the file name. And that's because it's going to give me file 1, 2, and 3. Notice the file type, FCM, because that's what a scan and cut reads. And I selected scan and cut as my cutter, so I don't have to worry about that. Check this out. This is a beautiful thing. You've got a template, and on this template, as long as your design is not bigger than the sheet of paper, it's going to give you scale at 100%, and it tells me the different sizes to cut out my vinyl. Now, one thing I noticed I didn't do is I didn't combine both of the blues. So it's going to give me 4 sets of colors. So rather than doing that, I'm going to change this. And I'm going to select both blue because I only want to use one color of blue. Notice in my layers I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I only know I'm going to use 3 colors. So I'm going to select both the blue and do the same thing. And my color picker, I'm going to select blue, and now it's combined them. Let's try this again. We're going to go to our Save to Cut. I'm going to select Heat Transfer Vinyl. And look, it gave me Merica 1, 2, 3. Now right in this screen, I can select them and delete each one. So I've selected it, right click to say delete, because I'm saving over the files in the same place. So remember that had 4, and right now I'm going to type in Merica with underscore, and I get my template. Now on this template you see I have red, white, and blue. I'm down to 3 colors. That's much more efficient. All I have to do is copy those FCM files to my USB stick and I'm good to go. So I hope you enjoy this. Please join our fan group, Designs by Hope Yoder fan group. Check back on the R&K Software Club, or for more tutorials on the RNK-Embellish webpage or at hopeyoder.com. Until next time, happy crafting.